Hello everyone, this is CJNovo992 and today we're back for another brand new video and it's Cup weekend, ladies and gentlemen. A home Cup tie versus a team it is in the Championship, so you know what that means. Today's video is pretty low-key, kind of relaxed, no much to actually break down and discuss, as it's kind of straightforward, drama-free win for Rangers. Now, as you've probably picked up from that intro, people, there is a slight layer of sarcasm weaved in that bad boy, because we're obviously here to break down, react and discuss a Rangers game with so many talking points, and I'm not just talking about the skill, the creativity and the overall performance from a Malik Tillman, who for me was absolutely majestic in this game again, but obviously we're here to talk about the decision, people, which I imagine will be so damn polarising that if you scroll down to the comment section below, you will see a lot of people agreeing with the decision and a lot of people probably disagreeing with it. And I'm going to be honest with you, that's a very scary place to be when you're me, people, because I know I'm going to upset a lot of people with what I'm going to say in the video. But as always, I'm never going to tell you what I think you want to hear. I'll tell you what I think, and then I'll deal with the consequences, and you shout at me in the comment section below after it. But aye, we're going to stick to the same format regarding the video. Start off with how the game started, weave our way into obviously the biggest talking point in not only the Scottish Cup this round, not only the Scottish Cup, but probably Scottish football, people, because aye, it's absolutely mental. I've never seen anything like it regarding our game up here. And I kind of just want to sit here and very briefly and speak about Malik Tillman just for a few seconds. And I know this might feel a little bit out of place and that in the video, but I'm seeing stuff wrote about the lad now, calling him a cheat, calling him a dirty player, calling him a cheap player, and everything. That is just absolutely ridiculous. You have one of the most skillful players in this league for donkeys, people. He genuinely is. This is a 20-year-old kid playing at the level week in and week out. Yes, he wasn't everybody's taste and everyone's favourite to start when he first played his first couple of games, but now he does the hard yards that everyone was moaning about. Now he gets stuck into challenges. Now he goes back and forth and he's box to box. He's a ridiculously talented footballer, and he is a joy to watch every time he touches the ball. And there's a lot of discussion out there about who's the best midfielder in Scotland. Maybe it's just my bias talking, people, but the best midfielder in Scotland's probably the one that when the laddie scores, because he's so freaking good, we have to give the opposition a go. In fact, I'm not joking about that. It's crazy, people. And I guess I'm just sitting here waiting for the email tomorrow morning, bang on 9 o'clock, for Castor to say welcome and get an exclusive right to the sportsmanship range that's now out. Oh, what's that? That's the sound of Castor never sponsoring this channel. Okay then. I'm losing my mind, people, because genuinely, where do I go with this? So, aye. Let's go ahead and talk about it. By the way, I just want to say a massive thank you to everyone who has recently subscribed to the channel as well. We have now reached over 57,000 subscribers. That's incredible support. If we can keep that, that'd be greatly appreciated, as we're trying to challenge and trying to chop down the 60k marker. Any support regarding hitting the like button or subscribing would be greatly appreciated. But aye, let's talk about the first 45 minutes then, shall we? Or what I will always remember as a 45 minutes that could have made Sakala frown, people. And if you know anything about Sakala, that boy Disney stop smiling. But he would have after that first 45 minutes, because it was so brutal for Rangers. And the contrast from how we played in the second half to the first half probably can never be overstated or discussed enough, because we were miles off it, people. Of course, there's another major decision gone in the way of Partick Thistle that I think was completely wrong, and a lot of people will look at that as a reason. But before I break that down, I just want to say, people, we were stinking in that first 45 minutes. Besides a couple real magical moments from Tillman, especially in the opening 5 minutes, where he sort of runs down the left-hand side, beats a couple of people, puts it on a plate for the return in. Hadji, who it was absolutely great to see him again. It's his first start in over a year and a bit, people. And did he look off it? Of course he did, but he's always going to look that way on his road to recovery. And it was just good to see him back starting again, come away with another 45 minutes under his belt. That's obviously not the best they had, but we'll see that in a bit of time. We just have to be patient with the laddie as he kind of snatches at this opportunity that Tillman just handpicked and created for him, and it ends up going wide. But despite a couple magical runs, and even Cantwell had a good little turns and everything like that, we never had enough penetration in that first half. And dare I say, we were quite pedestrian in the way we actually walked about with the fit, but almost like, yeah, we're expected to win this. We're probably going to win this anyway. So let's go in a bit even. And Partick Thistle, to be fair, absolutely not only met that, but raised it and took it to a new level. And I just want to very briefly, before I speak about some of my frustrations with a couple of the Partick Thistle players and a couple of things I didn't like for the actual game, but regarding how they set up there and how they went about their business, I think is very admirable, if I'm honest with you people, because you looked at a side coming up from the Championship that came to Ibrox and played more football against us at Ibrox, again as a Championship side, than 95% of the teams in the top flight of Scottish football. And that's embarrassing for every other team, people, but it's something that should be applauded when you see a team come up there, because they want to just pack in the books. Obviously they defended in numbers and that, but they had something going forward. They actually tried to play a brand of football. It wasn't just channel balls, diving all over the place. They tried to actually play football, and again they put more problems and they asked more questions, and again 95% of this league. And I keep hearing the reason that the other teams are play like that and it's putrid and everything like that is because of a lack of budget. Well, what's Partick Thistle's budget, people? They dwarfing 90% of your league and all that as well, because they came here with some balls and actually some football and ability. And I think a lot of teams in the top flight can learn something for that. And maybe, just maybe, if teams actually start playing football now and again instead of the dung that we need to watch with everybody packing the box and hitting long balls, maybe eventually the league will grow and we'll start getting more offers and more money put in to the league. That is just a suggestion. So credit to Partick Thistle, and you'll hear a wee bit about that as well, because again, despite Tillman trying to make things happen in the first 15 minutes, we just started to slip off the ball and they really started to capitalise on it, and they started again to play their brand of football, zipping it about. And they had a 10-minute spell in this game where they looked like the Premier side and we looked like the Championship side. Again, you didn't want me to be saying that, but again, I'm just going to be honest. They had a 10-minute spell in this game where they were beating us to every 50-50, every ball. It was mental to actually see the way the big chances started to come. The two major opportunities in the actual game came down as Sands, who again was in for Connor Goldson. And I know I'm getting old, I know I'm getting crabby and everything like that, and I know I'm old fashioned, people. I just didn't like breaking up my my centre back partnership. I just didn't like doing it, especially after a week off. I understand wanting to give guy games and everything like that, but just know your two centre halves, because despite Sands maybe not doing something drastically bad or even saying he had an overall bad game, it wasn't the same standard that we've came to expect. And again, for me, especially in the first 45 minutes, Graham had him on toast with every single ball in the actual air. And I think Sands had lost a couple headers up to that point. The ball ends up coming down and he just nails the boy. It's just a centre mid putting in a centre back sort of challenge for young James Sands and everything, and it gives a dangerous free kick away to Partick Thistle. And to be fair, I didn't think the free kick taker can take this any better. It's a wonderful curling effort round the actual one. Honestly, we should be talking more about this save, and we would remember this save a hell of a lot better for Alan McGregor, as he's got quick feet, he gets down and somehow gets that out. We would remember this save a hell of a lot better if he somehow didn't make a better one 27 seconds later, people, because I thought that was my McGregor moment. But I got it just after, as we failed to deal with the corner. Again, Graham just massacres James Sands in the air. It ends up getting headed down into the box. Davies, I think, flicks at it, which sets up, I can't remember the exact Partick Thistle player it actually is, do apologise about that, but he's got a free shot 7-8 yards out. He absolutely rattles it, but somehow Alan McGregor pulls on the old gloves of old and goes back to prime McGregor here. It's a ridiculous save, just throwing one of his paws out there and keeping it at 0-0. That was a real 5-minute spell up to that point where they looked the better side, and again they carried that despite the save for Alan McGregor for the next 5 minutes before again Tillman got on the ball and started to at least ask a couple questions. One of them where he ended up nutmegging two people, running 50-60 yards. He actually combines really well with Cholak here, who holds the ball up, brings Cantwell into the mixer. They whip it into the box. Hadji gets a header, but it ends up going wide. Again, should be a better finish, but I'm not going to sit here and be overly critical to a lad who's been sitting on the sidelines for over a year, people. That's what's came to be expected for the lad, and again, we'll see a hell of a lot better down the road. But that is it, really, for the first 45 minutes before the major decision, the major talking point. And it's funny knowing what happens in the second half, because I thought this would be the controversial topic, but I think we'll all agree very briefly as a ball ends up coming into the mixer from the pressure of Partick Thistle, and I don't know how to say this if it's sounding biased, people, but this is never in a month of Sundays a penalty kick. It's just horrendous. Like, the ball comes in, Cholak's battling. If you've ever kicked a football in your life, and if you've ever jumped for a header, you know your arms go up, especially when you're shoulder to shoulder. He bangs into the player, his arms kind of out like this. I'm doing it now, and I'm sitting in a chair. People, imagine jumping up and going for a header against a big physical player. He jumps up, he bangs off, the boy headers it, it hits the elbow, hits the knee, and it hits the hip, and ends up going wide. And they say they're looking at it VAR, but they show the replay, and everybody in the entire world's looking at that saying, well, it's not a penalty. Because one, it hits his arm, right, like when he's on the white doing. Two, it's no gone in, because if it doesn't hit his arm, it's hitting his body where it actually hit after his arm, so he's not making himself any bigger. And three, it's never, ever, ever a handball. And then they look at it again, and then the referee gets told to go at it, and then everyone's still saying, oh, well, it's just a VAR mistake, you know what I mean? What does VAR even mean these days? And then the referee gives it, people, and I don't know what was up with that referee the night, and we're going to speak a little bit about him, but something's no right in the house. Alright, something isn't right in the house, because that was stinking for the laddie. How he can look at that and give a penalty kick, he should be sitting there with a microphone at the end of that game and explaining his decision and explaining what was actually said to him, because that's never been a penalty in football. And if you've ever played or jumped for a header, you know exactly why. So, aye. Anyway, they give the penalty kick, ridiculous as it may seem. And to be fair, it's a wonderful penalty kick, by the way. Low, hard, buried in the corner. Even if McGregor did dive the right way, even with his fantastic penalty record, I didn't think he's saving it. Wonderful penalty kick. And if I'm honest with you, despite how annoyed I am at the fact that they got that BS penalty, which again isn't a penalty, did they deserve to be in the lead in that first half? Yeah, they did. People, was the ref the reason we were behind in the game? He played his part in it, but where I would say, people, I was more disappointed as a Rangers fan looking at how we approached and went about our business, sort of going through the motions thinking the game was won before the ball was kicked. We were miles off it, and BS or not, Partick Thistle got the goal that they actually deserved. But if I was Alan McGregor after making two phenomenal saves, I'd have a lot to ask these players and of course the officials and that as well. But aye, we go in at half time, and I just wanted one couple things, Craig. Spit it out, lad. Just a couple of changes. I wanted Ryan Kent on for Hadji, because again, it was great to see him, but we're now one behind in a Scottish Cup tie, and we need players that's at that level right now. It's not a building process anymore. And two, I actually wanted a Goldson in for Sands. Again, not necessarily saying he was bad, but I'm not taking Davies off and putting Goldson in. You know what I mean? If I'm bringing Goldson in, I'm playing the partnership that's won us game after game after game when they've actually played. But I got one in my actual changes, and I got a wee cheeky favourite as well, people, as Kamal Roof made his return, as Michael Beale went ahead and activated the old kill streak Kamal Roof a little bit earlier in the round than he probably would have been expected as he came on for Cantwell, I believe. And of course the change that had to be made had you off for Ryan Kent. And just like that, people, just when we had a couple more players that again is up at that level, we started to absolutely dominate, because within a minute, 2 minutes, Ryan Kent, beautiful touch, bringing a ball down, beats the player, plays Kamal Roof in behind. He's actually got big Cholak there to set up if he wants it, but he goes for a shot. He's well within his right. He's a striker to go for it, but it ends up going wide. But that 60 seconds was better than what we got. And I want to give Michael Beale a bit of praise right now, because I'm not going to give him praise later on. Spoiler alert, people. I love what he done at half-time. I don't know if many people noticed it, but the team talk must have been really short, and he made the Rangers players go out there and wait at half-time. People made his changes early, 5 minutes before Partick Thistle even came out. I like that for Michael Beale. He must have absolutely bawled at the players that says, get out there and actually play like Rangers players and everything like that. So I like that, and obviously they certainly responded to it with the way they went about their business, because it didn't matter. It wasn't one of those things where if Rangers are going to equalise, it was simply when we added that talent onto the park, when we actually started to play the football we know we can play, it was how many is it actually going to be? And there's a couple of things that I love about this goal. Not only is it my man Cholak with the actual goal, showing once again that he needs one chance to get one goal, and again he's his most clinical striker at this football club. It wasn't just the fact that he scored though, It was the fact that wee Raskin was just involved in everything. Because I don't think I've really mentioned his name, but despite my frustrations on a lot of the players in the first half and how we approached it, if there was one player that was buzzing about along with Malik Tillman and actually showing up, it was that young laddie as well. As he won every 50-50, he was positive with the football, sometimes too positive as the other players weren't actually in tune with him yet, but he was driving everything like that. And I thought the second half, the way he started and the way he went about his business, he got the assist that he well and truly deserved. As he passes, he follows the run, he drives into the box and he ends up just battling, just shoving the boy out the way, saying, hey, the pit bull knocks that boy on his arse, and then he's got the quality just to lift the ball to the back post, where again Tony Goals will always be there. People, put it in the mixer for the striker, please, people. And Cholak does what he always does if you give him something that he can hit towards the actual goal. But despite all my praise for Big Tony Goals, I think he should actually have a brace about 3 minutes later. And I need to shout out Malik Tillman here again. And I know not everybody likes him still and that, but what he does here is outrageous. And I'm not even speaking about all his skill in the game. He picks the ball up 5-10 yards out for his own box. He runs the length of the park. 2 Partick Thistle players ends up getting booked after this play, but it doesn't stop the play. The first shin tries to nail him, continues to run. He drags it all the way. He ends up playing the ball right to the exact place he needs to play it for Cholak in behind the defence. And Cholak almost as a Morelos finish where it's just hit the goalie. A little bit disappointed with that by the big man, and he probably is in that as well. But also Tillman, after making that pass, gets nailed again from behind. And I'd end up there getting 2 yellow cards there, rightly so, as the 2 players were nipping, pulling, kicking them all the way. But again, it became the Tillman show. Here again, he started getting on the ball. He nutmegs another player in the middle of the park. He puts you in between his legs. Another one. He just runs by people. I've never seen a player at Rangers for a long time that's got that level of balance where he's no quick people. Alright, Professor Xavier's probably faster than Malik Tillman in a 100-metre race and everything like that. But when you look at how he can move the ball and how he can move his body, he looks rapid and nobody can actually get near him. It's such a weird, unique thing to watch. And Malik Tillman, and again, his influence was growing in the game. He was embarrassing people, and he started to get the kicks. I mean, I say he started to getting the kicks. He was involved in the first minute when he done a German suplex to one of the players who was trying to give him a wee bit of abuse in the first minute. And I think he took that personally, Michael Jordan-esque, if you will, into the rest of the game as he was just dominating and dominating and dominating. And then the big moment come. Actually, people, what am I talking about here? And no, I'm not trying to tease you or drag the video out, but son just came to the grey noggin that I've forgot a couple little incidences. One of them, I want to give a special mention to Raskin as well, because not only was he involved in that goal we just spoke about, but he was nearly involved in another, and he probably should have been involved in another, as he hit a wonderful through ball in to the mixer where Ryan Kent's just trying to cushion it down to Big Cholak to get a tap in, but Kent ends up missing it. Wonderful ball for Raskin, and to be fair, Partick Thistle nearly scored for about 47 yards out because McGregor was off his line. I don't know what I just said in the last 3 sentences just there, but I can tell you, son, I was shocked in him that McGregor was off his line, and fair play to the boy for actually striking it. And of course, there was the iconic line, penalty to Rangers, where I don't think it is. And this is going to sound ridiculous, people, because Tillman's magical down the right-hand side. You can't give him 1v1. If you give him 1v1, you're done, people. You have to put at least 2 on this laddie, and I'm not bigging him up. I'm not talking a lot of nonsense. I'm just telling you the truth. He, for me, is just absolutely unplayable in 1v1, and he just skills the boy, runs into the box. But I believe the contact starts happening about a yard outside the box, and eventually again the contact gets that hard that it does fall into the box. He's not making a melee or diving or anything like that, but the contact first started. So I think by the letter of the law it probably should have been a free kick, and ends up giving the penalty kick. But that just shows the incompetence at every level. The VAR again, what they doing? I don't think it's a penalty, and that's for my team, people. But Tavernier steps up and he tries to go down the middle, and to be fair to the goalkeeper, he guesses the right way. If you stand in the middle and he puts it any other side, the goalie's getting absolutely slaughtered. But to have the cojones to stand there and just wait for it to hit you says a lot about the guy. When it's your day, and it was for him right there. So Tavernier really should have put it away, but end up blowing it right there. And aye, you can see it's just it's starting to get a little bit nippy because not only do you have Rangers firing in, they should have been ahead. There's some daft decisions all over the place, and Malik Tillman is just slaughtering and embarrassing every single player at every single incident, people. And aye, what happens when you start to embarrass these boys and everything like that? The hammer throwers start to come out, and they came out for Malik Tillman where an incident that's not getting spoken about. Everyone wants to talk about what happens 25 seconds later, but can we talk about what happened 25 seconds before it? Please, people. Tillman embarrasses another boy. The ball ends up going away from him, and the Partick Thistle player just stands on his ankle. Stamp. The ball's nowhere near it. They talk about they're going to check VAR for violent conduct. Now, I never heard anything about that or anything like where it ended up going. They must have cleared it or they would have done something, but it's a ridiculous stamp on the lad's ankle, and it's something that seemed to affect him for the rest of the game in a way. But aye, nobody wants to talk about that poor sportsmanship, but they want to slaughter a 20-year-old laddie for getting up off his feet after being stamped on ridiculously late when the ball's nowhere near the laddie, because Partick Thistle take a throw-in when Malik Tillman's halfway down Govan Road. People, when it's actually took, they should, if they're kicking it back to Rangers right away, have done it, but they end up just taking a ridiculous touch, and Malik Tillman just runs and puts pressure on, because again, it doesn't look as if they're kicking it back to Rangers or they're booting it back, or they would have. People, I mean, look how much distance they've actually got, and again, Malik Tillman's the quickest, so they try and do that, they take a touch, it's heavy, Malik Tillman comes in, wins the 50-50, what we want our Rangers players today, runs into the mixer, skins the goalie, skins the defender, drags the shot and puts it in at the bottom bin. It's a ridiculously skillful, calm, composed finish, and it's a goal we should be applauding, no rinsing the laddie. And the scenes after it is just genuinely embarrassing, as there's about 6 or 7 Partick Thistle players right away on top of him. And give a wee shout out to Cholak here, he's sitting there battling about 6 of them at once, and then Roof comes in trying to square go everybody. You've got the Mothman prophecies and Barisic coming in there and wanting to do stairs at fucking wee Raskins running up there like Kevin McAllister in Home Alone when he first finds his bed, just running and diving right into the mixer. I liked a wee bit of the fight, I liked the backing of the player, but I didn't like the way that Tillman was getting treated on the ground and them all standing near him and everything like that, especially considering what they had just done to him less than a minute ago by stamping on the laddie's ankle late. Aye, then the moment comes, people, you're here now, you understand their frustration because they're claiming that they were trying to kick the ball back and everything like that, but again, why are they dragging their feet? You know what I mean? That's all I'm actually saying, people, and aye, there's a wee bit of kerfuckle and everything like that, and you're sitting staring like, just get on with the game, man, grow up. And then Michael Beale, the Rangers manager, of course, is talking to Tavernier, and then they're like, what's going on here then? And everybody just kind of goes in like a formation, like they're in the Super Bowl, people. Looks like we're in 4th and 1 right here. And then the Partick Thistle player just walks by the actual defence, and he's trying to walk by McGregor, but you can see McGregor, because he's like us, people. He doesn't think this should be happening. I don't care what they say or the stuff that gets echoed through the media and the people that does what they're told and everything like that. I don't care. It'd be like, you can see by McGregor, he doesn't think this should be happening, people, as he tries, again, he eventually accepts it, but he's not letting the laddie just walk right through him and everything like, a couple of wee nibbles at the ball, and then he lets him put it in the net to make it 2-2, and that's the incident. That's the controversial. Rangers' decision to let Partick Thistle make it 2-2 late in a Scottish Cup tie, because again, they're saying that Malik Tillman done something wrong in that game. And I understand that. I've seen what Beale said, I've seen what Tavernier said about the standards of the club and everything. I get all that, people, and I know there's going to be so many people, and I know I'm in the minority here, but I say, what about the standards and what about the sportsmanship of the way our players are getting kicked up and down the place? Is there nobody? There's not one person mentioning the stamp on Tillman that started all of this, because it's accepted that good players in this country get kicked, stamped and get hurt, people. And that's what drags our game down. That's accepted. But the laddie getting back up off the ground and ripping the piss back out, the ins that's just tried to punt him for pillar to post, that's the villain. It's no the yin that's stamped. It's ridiculous in that, people, but there, yeah, that was the decision made. And again, I get it for the old sportsmanship point of view and sport and integrity, if you want to call it that, and there's that magical word, woohoo, and everything like that. But it was just baffling when I watched it. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, what about Tillman? Are we no backing Tillman? Anyway, what's the message that's sending that young laddie and everything like that for getting that type of abuse, to be like, alright, you've done something wrong by scoring a goal for Rangers. I don't like it, people. I think they're saying that, what was it, he never knew they'd kicked the ball out. It doesn't surprise me, because again, he's holding his ankle because he's been stamped on. That wasn't mentioned at any the pressers or anything like that. And aye, we make it 2-2. We make it 2-2, and Partick Thistle has their second goal. One of them was given by VAR, and one of them was given by Rangers. That there is crazy. But I will probably get an award out of it, just like Leeds did it, because I think it was Leeds anyway that done it years. And was it Leeds? Was it Aston Villa? I don't know. People, I know it was happened before. I know we'll get a wee FIFA Fair Play award, and that'll be great and everything like that. And look, it never hurt us at the end of the day because we did go through. But I was just disappointed that if we're going to do that, right, if we're going to do that, I would at least like us to maybe have backed Tillman up a little bit more, you know what I mean? Fought his actual corner when discussed to be like, right, we've done the right thing, but can we maybe highlight the fact that this actually happened to the laddie, because you're not talking about it, you're not talking about it, you're not talking about it. I'd have liked a wee with that, you know. That's all I'm gonna say, people. I get it, it's the way football and that is. I understand they were trying to uphold the standards and everything like that. That's what Michael Beale talked about regarding the actual football club, but I'd have just liked just a wee brief moment to maybe back up a 20-year-old laddie who did get kicked for pillar to post for the very first minute of the game and clearly targeted for that type of treatment, to just say, aye, we done the right thing, but did the opposition do the right thing with the way they actually went about their business on Tillman? No. That's all I'm going to say about it, people. But aye, and then goes to 2-2 and you're thinking to yourself, imagine. Nah, and I'm not talking about John Lennon here, people. I'm talking about, imagine Partick Thistle go on and win this game now. We'd all be outside Govan the now asking some questions, people. But we end up with getting the winning goal from a corner, as we whipped in a couple of really good corners for Barisic, and then Tavernier took one. You're like, who are we crossing that to? Are we crossing it to Warwick Davis? Put some air in it, Tavernier. But thankfully Barisic soon takes over the corners again, whips in a really good one. And I originally thought it was Tillman that got the header to it, so I was writing the sort of stories in my mind. And then I thought, oh, it's James Sands, because that was what was announced, obviously, at the stadium and all that. And then you see it back and it's quite a clearly given own goal, people. And I thought to myself, oh no, Partick Thistle's just scored a hard luck, unlucky own goal. Are we going to give them a goal back for that too? Now, all joking aside, but is it? Is that what football's actually going to become, people? And that ended up being the goal. I don't think Partick Thistle had another real opportunity in the game. In fact, it was us, and again, it was Tillman. He was playing angry because, again, they were chirping at him. You've got hammer throwers chirping him the whole time, shoving him off the ball and everything like that, trying to get in his head. And he went on a wonderful run in about the 95th, 96th minute and ends up forcing a very good save for the goalkeeper, who actually played pretty well in that second half with the penalty save and the couple saves they eventually had to make. But aye, that was it. It was game, set and match. We shouted to Connor Goldson as well, because when the full-time whistle went, he made sure to get his way to Tillman right away and stand beside the laddie to make sure there was no shenanigans or anything going on after the game. Shout out to Connor Goldson as well for that backing and standing for your teammate. I like to see that. But aye, that is the game, people. It's a game that will be remembered for the decision and not really for the way Partick Thistle played a lot of the good football, especially in the first half, and then some of our really good football that we played and that as well. It will be remembered for the decision. And again, I know you are already shouting at me, you're probably annoyed at me for thinking that, but I just think if we're going to do the right thing and give them a goal and that, can we then bring up and maybe back our player a wee bit more in the pressers and everything like that, and just ask, just one wee line and say, how did it all come about? Oh aye, there was a late stamp on his ankle. No one want to talk about it? No problem about that, people. But aye, that's my thoughts and opinions. I'll get this video done because not only I want to see your opinions, but it's also Super Bowl night, people. So aye, there's a couple of exciting things to happen on the channel over a little while. Of course, we have my charity game that we ended up playing and raising £2,000 for as well. So we'll be doing the Ryan Jack raffle for that, and we've got some highlights and cool stuff and some thank yous and everything like that I want to give in its own special video. But aye, I'll finish up today's video just by saying I cannot wait to see the comment section today. It would be great to see your thoughts and opinions. And until next time, ladies and gentlemen, I've been CJ Over 92. Thank you so much for watching, and bye-bye.